It's Christmas time. This small business is in danger. There's lots of awkward heterosexuality, and I'm here to review them. Welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas Movie Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing Christmas with a Prince, starring Caitlin Lieb and Nick Hounslow. Caitlin Lieb stars as Dr. Tasha Mason, a doctor in a pediatric unit of a hospital. And Nick Hounslow plays Prince Alexander, and for reasons I honestly zoned out, I have no idea why, but he injured himself in a skiing accident, and for whatever reason, gotta keep it on the down low, and so he ends up in this pediatric hospital getting treatment. I think it's because Dr. Mason's half-brother, who was a nurse in the hospital, he was buddies with the prince back in the day, and so was Dr. Mason. They all went to the same boarding school, but Dr. Mason, may I refer to her as Tasha? Why not? They did in the movie. Tasha, had a teenage crush on the prince, and he did not reciprocate with the fact that he's a prince and he's all hot and arrogant, whatever, you know the deal. And so she walks into the fact that she's being pushed into having to treat the prince, though she's a pediatric doctor, she'll now treat an adult grown man, very hesitant about it, presuming the prince is still just the arrogant teenager that he was, flamboyant and just uncaring towards her. But as we see as the movie progresses, the real challenge is determining if Tasha still has that teenage crush now on the prince. Is it blossoming into love? Is the prince a better man than he once was? So, how did I feel about Christmas with a Prince? I will be honest with you, as I mentioned, I zoned out fairly early. And then I tried to continue to give it a shot by watching it at 1.5 times speed, which made it a bit more tolerable, but I knew the direction it was headed, and I didn't care. To begin with, setting the film in a pediatric hospital is, I get it, but for how cheesy your movie it is, a pretty depressing subject, and hard to get to the uplifting portions of it when you're surrounded by cheesiness with it. Obviously, kids having cancer and potentially dying with terrible acting surrounding it, really, and Christmas, it didn't mesh for me personally. The two leads, fine in their cheesiness. I'll be honest, I gave up halfway through the movie. It just wasn't interesting. It wasn't entertaining. It was very stereotyped. The chief of medicine was just, I'm such a, for lack of a better term, bitchy woman, and just, everything about it was just too cookie-cutter, cheesy. I couldn't stand it. I did not care. So I didn't finish watching it. What is shocking is, when I looked it up on IMDb, they have made 2 sequels of this movie. Christmas with a Prince, The Royal something, then a new one that's released this year, Christmas with a Prince, The Royal Baby. And considering I couldn't get through this movie, I have no desire to see the sequels. I'm looking at IMDb right now. The big special guest, I had to remember his name, is Charles Shaughnessy in the movie. You may remember him being on The Nanny. And so, of course, here as King Edward, he just plays an arrogant king. So he's not really, in his advanced age, really venturing too far off from his role from The Nanny. The half-brother, I thought, was gay, but I don't think he is, because he was kind of hitting it off with the security person. For the prince, played by Melinda Shunker. Nice to see a Shunker in there, an Indian in this movie. Whatever, I didn't care for this movie. So, on a scale of a partridge in a pear tree to 12 drummers drumming, when you don't finish the movie, what can you say? I'll give it a little credit, maybe you'll enjoy it, so I'll give it two turtle doves. Now, if you are a Caitlin Lieb fan, which honestly is a very specific actor for you to love, probably she is a level above the Sumukh Torgalkar fans. Anyway, I would highly advise you actually watch Christmas with a View. She was great in that, much better, more entertaining movie, so I will link to that at the end of the video where you can see my review about that. Well, thanks for watching, and come join me tomorrow when I'll be reviewing something else. I'm giving this, it's a day-to-day kind of thing.